Radman being in the Empire State of New York, that we had one quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers, leave the New York Jets. And some people say that they're surprised that Aaron Rodgers hasn't been signed. And I'm like, are you really surprised? Are you really? Oh, man. All right, hold on. Radman.
Yes. Who's surprised?
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a well-known jerk. Well-known jerk. And people are surprised that this old, washed up, beat up quarterback is not signed. Every team, they said, oh, what about the Steelers? No. What about the Vikings? No. I mean, heck, even for the other New York football team, even though they both play in New Jersey, the Giants, what did they do? They went overhead and signed who? Good old famous Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
2-year deal for $8 million. And that's one player who I think he is going to have a very good chance to start there in New York. But also, he's going to be in the city that never sleeps, New York City. And he's going to have a chance to, what were we talking about earlier? What are you going to do after the game is over? What are you going to do? We saw Jameis Winston down in New Orleans have a great presence when it comes to on Media Row and Radio Row. He was there, crowds of people. He stands out because he's very tall, great personality. He was throwing out W's, eating the W, man. Jameis, eating the W. I may add that to the board. But it ended up being a great move that had me feeling very surprised and yet happy there for him. But Aaron Rodgers, let me see here. I think I have a good way to describe Aaron Rodgers right now, at least personality. I think physically he could be a good starter, but in the locker room, he'll be this Radman. He'll be there, Sean Tush. Yeah, that's Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if you hear it, but just one more time. Aaron Rodgers is just that's Aaron Rodgers. But it is what it is there. He's rough go of it with him, man.
Don't need a plumber for him. Just flush him down the toilet because, like you said, and we saw Jameis Winston every day. He was working for another network doing interviews and walking around, and we had a chance to talk with him almost each day there on Radio Row. And he said, "Hey, I'm also looking for a job, y'all." He said he was openly saying he's looking to land with an NFL team. He don't know where he's going to go, where he's going to be playing in 2025. But he said, hey, he's looking for an opportunity and looking to start. So, hey, the New York Football Giants been messing around, looking at different players. They lost out on looked like they wanted Aaron Rodgers too, internet passport. They wanted him also. Next thing you know, they ended up going with Jameis Winston. Hey, now you're getting desperate. You got to go shopping. You got to at least get a quarterback that at least be in there in the training camp and in the OTAs. You know, start to get the system down to what kind of system Brian Daboll and them want to do there with the New York Giants. And also, could they be picking up Shedeur? They might be drafting Shedeur or Cam Ward. They're in the running for one of those quarterbacks. So Jameis Winston may be the starter at the beginning of the season, or they may go right ahead and start the rookie and then bring Jameis off the bench. But I think they might be it'd be a good idea to allow him to the rookie, if they get the rookie quarterback, to allow Jameis to start and let the rookie quarterback sit for a little bit and see what's going on. Maybe not see how to throw interceptions, but see how the plays and everything is formatting, and then bring the rookie in maybe later in the season. Because keep in mind, right, internet passport.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and obviously as we're presented here, there live from the Rock Pawnbroker Studios. I think it's important there that Shedeur Sanders will end up being a great pick. You know, he's a great personality there. He's a great high energy guy, great locker room guy. I think he will be a great fit there for the New York Giants and for that market. The rich just is going to get richer. I personally have him over there over Cam Ward, but I feel like when you're at the top of the draft, you want to go with the higher ceiling guy. And that's what I see there when it comes to Cam Ward, just because of those physical attributes. But I was like, but Shedeur, hey, man, that high floor, you know what you could get it. You could go produce, and you're going to have a veteran in front of him in New York. I think that's going to end up being a great move.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think that is going to be a very big move for New York. And playing in the big city, I think Shedeur love that. I think Deion as well. Also, but the key is, what is Deion Sanders behind the scenes doing? What is he talking about behind the scenes? Because you may not see, he may not want his son going to the New York Football Giants. That may be one of the teams that's not on his list of where he wants his son to play in the National Football League. He may pull a John Elway move or the Manning family. Elway pulled it first. Then the Manning family used the same playbook. I wonder will Deion Sanders use that playbook by not having his son having a do not go to list of teams that he do not want to draft his son. So that could play into it as well.
Oh, well, that's possible. That's possible. But like they say, a lot of factors that come into it. But the number one thing ends up being that money. It's about that money, and money just has you feeling. But I have to say, Radman, speaking of the money, of the dough, the moolah, the bread, the cheddar, someone also ended up making a little bit of an adjustment when it comes to the Bills. He went ahead and helped the Bills save some money, open up some of that cap, and reshape this deal. But before we get into that, we have the award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency for auto, home, health, and life insurance at 1038 Lyle Ave or 511 BM Road, Suite B. Just call 585-360-0094. It's that time. And I always tell folks, you don't need insurance until you need insurance. And you don't want to be caught without it when something that's out of your control comes up, whether it's something to your home or something there on the road or something when it comes to, most importantly, your own health. We want to make sure that you're safe, prepared, and ready. Because what do they say? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So go ahead, call up Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency for that auto, home, health, and life insurance and go get right. Take care of that. Give yourself that peace of mind with that award-winning insurance. But Radman, and shout out Miriam Rivera. But just wondering, the Bills went ahead and saved some money with Radman's favorite linebacker. Some people may call him a dude who's always in the gym. Maybe he needs to get a little bit smaller. Some people may say he looks like the old school juicers, man. Not saying he's on anything, just saying that, hey, he just pumped up. He's big. His body can't handle it. It's not, we only tell you what we know. But Matt Milano, it says Matt Milano takes a pay cut as his contract was reworked by the Bills. Essentially, this cut some of those other years off the end of the contract, move some money up. So essentially, after giving him a 2-year extension of March of 23, now he just restructured his contract where essentially he's avoided the year for the year of his contract in 2027 and 2026. So he helped the Bills avoid some of that contract, and but he got a little more money in the beginning there. But now the Bills have an easier way again out of his contract and limiting that dead cap hit and making it smaller as well. What do you think about that move there, Radman? Is they said, hey, we're supposed to have you here to 2027, but now, hey, let's shave a couple of years off that contract, move the money up, and see if we can make that happen. And he agreed to it. Of course, he got some of that good old money. Ain't nothing wrong with getting that money. Shout out to the money. He had that coming on through. But for a linebacker who, once he was able to stay healthy and put it all together, looked like a Pro Bowler, looked like a future All-Pro, but then the very next year, back to having some injuries, some of them soft tissue, and then some of them just freak accidents. What do you think there, Radman, when it comes to why and the reasoning behind, and if you generally like that rework deal for the former Pro Bowl linebacker Matt Milano of the Buffalo Bills?
Well, I think with Matt, you said a mouthful there. He's a good guy. He's a hard-hitting player. He's a guy just out of watching how he played the last few games in the playoff games. We knew he was on the football field. I mean, he laid a running back out just before the on several plays in that game against Kansas City. I mean, he met the running back Kareem Hunt at the line of scrimmage, and Kareem Hunt, I could tell you, he didn't want the football anymore. You could tell he didn't want to run that ball to that right side of the line. I mean, he just smashed them in that football game. And even the week before that, in the Denver game, in the Baltimore game, Matt Milano made his presence felt on the football field. So I would definitely bring him back. And for him to take that pay cut tells me that he wants to stay in Buffalo. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. Hopefully he can stay healthy. He doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't tear those biceps or anything else next season. Hopefully he can stay. If he can stay healthy and stay on the field for most of the game, that would be a big asset for the Buffalo Bills. And for him taking the pay cut, and when we say pay cut, all they're doing is deferring his money for later on down the road. He'll still get that money, but it's down the road. He's taking a pay cut for this season, but he's not getting more this year. He's going to get the rest of his money down the road. So that's a big difference for him. Somebody like a Von Miller that didn't make his presence known on the field, you got to go, man. You got to go. You gotta have guys that make a presence on the field. Ed Oliver made his presence known. Daquan Jones, the guys, but you got to get some. You got to get younger. I think the Bills' first 3 draft picks will be defensive guys, defensive tackles. You got to get some young defensive tackles because Daquan Jones not going to play forever. And Ed Oliver, he's a smaller guy. He's not the typical prototype defensive tackle. He's really undersized for his position. But he plays so doggone well, he gets the job done playing that defensive tackle role. So he definitely knows how to make the plays and can make the plays as a defensive tackle. The Bills got to get bigger. They got to get much bigger on that defensive front. Let's get 2 defensive tackles in the draft starting. These guys going to have to start, and you got to get a safety. Justin Simmons. Get Justin Simmons in here. You need a veteran guy to go with what you have right now. You brought the Forrester guy in. Let's see what they can do and make things happen on that level. That's what I see right now of how they could get better at that position. And before we move into our next guest, we're going to Challenger Community News, West New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper, The Challenger News, NEWS, thechallengernews.com. Or call 585-766-3590. If you have articles, send them to editor@thechallengernews.com. Send them in. Send those articles in. Beautiful Juneteenth parade coming up. Boy, they're talking about June. They had over 4,000 participants in last year's Juneteenth parade over there in Buffalo last year. So you pick up this week's Challenger, tells you how you can register to be in the parade for this coming season. Also, the executive order. They're talking about the Black Cinema Series of the Rochester Association of Black Journalists. This executive order movie at the Little Theater debuts on March 26th. Check it out. All this great news. Find out about the executive order. And we ain't talking about what the Orange Man's talking about. We talk about a different executive order in this movie featured by the Black Cinema Series to feature the executive order on March 26th. And there's a lot of great news you can use. Always love the health and fitness section, how to stay healthy, eating the right foods and things of that nature. Check it all out in this week's Challenger Community News. All kinds of great articles and information in there talking about all sorts of African-American lifestyle in the largest weekly African-American newspaper, Challenger Community News. So let's we're ready to head on to our next guest. Once he comes back into the realm there, we'll have him come back in and we'll be able to have him next coming through. And remember, Internet Passport, tell the people what they need to do. Remember to like the video, share it on Facebook, and subscribe.
Exactly. Just need to, y'all, subscribe to the channel if you're watching there. Share it on Facebook. leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. It's a little thing, but it means the world to us. It definitely has us feeling real good when we do. We have a certain goal, trying to get over that 500 subs. So if you can, we gotta go ahead and just make that happen.
Yes, indeed. And we have an update from Markel Slaughter from the Democrat Chronicle newspaper, one of the sports reporters.
Markel,
he's gonna give us an update on the high school sectional tournaments. Welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
What's going on, fellas? Good morning.
What's going on with those sectional games? I know Greece Athena played a hell of a game the other night. Can you tell us what happened in that contest?
Yeah, so their teams are in the state final four now. Greece Athena is in AA. They lost their semifinal by 1 point. They almost won it at the buzzer. It was a really good game. They let they let the team get an offensive board and put back layup with about 6 seconds left. Greece Athena ran down the court and got a shot up. A kid got the rebound, Isaac Reeves, and he tossed the floater up in the last second, and it was like a movie scene. That ball bounced a couple times on the rim. It looked like it was going in, and it didn't fall in, and it was a heartbreaking loss. But they were real close to getting to the Class AA state championship game.
Wow.
And then we have Wayne in A, Honeyoy in C, and World of Inquiry in Class B left. Honeyoy won their semifinal yesterday. Honeyoy, they look really good, man. I seen them at the section final, and they've gotten better and better. They may be able to win this thing. They look good, but World of Inquiry is the city team left. They're playing in Class B. I think they're playing around 11:30 today. And if they win, they'll play in the state championship Sunday. And Wayne in Class A from they're a little further east than Rochester, but they went to the state championship game last year, and they play in their semifinal in a few hours. Wayne is playing the team that beat them in the championship game last year, Glens Falls. Glens Falls is undefeated. They won 52 straight games.
Wow.
And,
wow.
They have 3 1,000-point scores, but and apparently they are better, but Wayne is a much better team too. And they definitely have the best player in Section 5, Cam Blankenberg. And he might be the best player in the state. This kid he's an outstanding 6'6" point guard who can score in the post. I've written about how much better he's gotten, but he's a stud defender this year, absolute stud, and I think that's his biggest improvement. I think Wayne's team last year could not shoot. This year, Wayne has shooters. They have Cam and 2 other guards, Aiden Twist and Richie Miles, who can really shoot the ball and handle the ball. So they're more well-equipped to beat this team this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do in their winning streak. This Wayne team is very, very impressive.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because all right. So you're gonna be reporting on that. They can follow you on Democrat Crime. And who's the other team left? Word of Inquiry.
Yeah, they're the city team left. Word of Inquiry, and they play the team. They play Marcellus from Section 3, Syracuse. They went to the state final last year. So they have a good team, but Word of Inquiry, they have a pretty good team, led by Jaden Adams Griffin, 1,000-point scorer. He's a senior, and they have another kid, Kanaz Linder. Junie's a good player. They brought an 8th grader up who can shoot the ball, Devin Dillon. He's going to be really good. He hit 6 threes in a couple games ago. He's a very good player. I like them a lot. I'm just not sure how deep they can go into their bench if they get into foul trouble, because I haven't seen them really use their bench. But I really like their 5 or 6 that they play with. I think they should be in good hands. We'll see how hungry this Marcellus team is, but I like World of Inquiry's chance. World of Inquiry, they're looking to be the first. There hasn't been a city team from Rochester to win the state title since '86, and that was Wilson Magnet. And I've read about them. They had a pretty good team, man. They almost won the Federation Championship. They actually lost to Christian Leitner's Nichols team in the Fed Championship. Oh, wow. They only lost to them by 4 points. That Wilson team was really good. And then there's a Charlotte team who won back-to-back in 83 and 84. So the 80s, they had some really good RCSD teams, but there hasn't been a city team to win since 86, and World of Inquiry is hoping to do that. And I should mention East High is at least the last team from the city to make the state final, which was in 2014. I haven't checked how many city teams made it to the state final four since then, but East High 2014 is definitely the last city team to make the state final.
All right. Well, how can we stay in contact with you for the upcoming for people can get updates throughout the day on these games?
At Marquel Sports, MARQUEL on Instagram and Twitter. But you want to get I'll put links on there, but you want to go to democratandchronicle.com because I'll be live blogging. I'm at home in Rochester. I'll be streaming these games. I'm not in Binghamton for any of these. So I'm watching all these games online, and I'm giving as many updates as I can. So there'll be links on democratandchronicle.com and on my social media pages at Marquel Sports. World of Inquiry will be playing around 11:30. Wayne plays a few hours later. I forget what time. Honeyoy plays in the state championship at 7:45 tonight.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and you get live updates. And next week you'll be back to give a final wrap up on the season, how these games turned out and what took place later on today.
Yeah, we should have a few state champs. I'm pretty confident.
All right. Well, we definitely should have some for sure. Well, you take care. You have a great day covering those games. Stream them. DJ Sean Touch, if you could put the interview on with Coach Steve White from Word of Inquiry, assistant head coach.
Your name?
Stephen White.
And what was the key coaching? You're the assistant coach?
Yes, I'm the assistant coach of World of Inquiry.
Great. And what was the key tonight to the victory?
It was pretty much just getting the speed of the game. We realized that they weren't used to the speed of the game that we applied to them, and then also just keeping our foot on the gas, like not letting them hit a lot of threes because they're a really good shooting team. And then their center, their big guy, we wanted to keep him under control too because he could definitely make a difference. But it was the speed of the game and controlling those two guys, those two aspects of the game, and then the result was the result.
What is it that has these guys all together, pulling together for each other?
Hey, listen, at the beginning of the season, I felt like it was a different energy, and I think they just they're all like family. A lot of them came up from the JV program that we have, so they already had chemistry. And then with the school being so young, our upperclassmen are also grew up together. So they all been in the gym together. When we practice, sometimes it's a JV varsity practice. So they're all like a family. That's pretty much the energy that they did this.
What goes well next week in Binghamton? Final four.
Yeah, man. We hopefully make it a full weekend. If we make it a Sunday, we doing something right? So
you have an idea who you're playing?
I don't, but I do know that the teams that it's either Mechanicville or Marcel High School. I believe that's what the two schools that we supposed to play.
What's going to be your key to victory for you guys to pull it out?
Hey, we play the way that we played these last three games during our sectional run and then this regional game. We'll be fine because we are playing more like a team than we have ever been.
Yeah. All right, there you have it. Good luck to all of the Section 5 teams. Assistant head coach Steve White of Word of Inquiry. Good luck to all of those teams. Hopefully someone will be bringing the championship back. And now we're going to go in the NCAA tournament with Chris Gardner. We're going to go from now down to Houston, Texas. Chris Gardner, thank you so much for coming back.
I like
Yes.
that. Yes, sir. How y'all doing this morning?
Great, and
Man,
yourself?
doing well, doing well.
I'm doing well, man. First, let me say this. Rest in peace, George Foreman.
Yes.
He is a Houston legend, Fifth Ward, Texas. That's where I live right now. So Big
Wow.
George, rest in peace. Yes, sir.
Wow, Fifth Ward. All right, man. So you're
Mhm,
right
talk
at
about
home there. Yes, indeed. And speaking of right at home, your Houston basketball team, Cougars, man, they came out and just took care of they handled their business right away. They didn't make no nonsense at all back on Thursday.
Yeah, they defeated the SIU Cougars, those little Cougars, lost to the big Cougars. When the Houston Cougars shoot like they did in that first half, they are very, very tough to beat because they play defense so well. Tonight's matchup against Gonzaga should be probably the best 1 versus 8 matchup in this second round, this round of 32. It's going to be tough. Ryan Nembhard is one of the best point guards in the country. He's got his assist turnover ratio like 4-1. So it's going to be a good test for him, for Houston's Milos Uzan going against Nembhard. Looking forward to the challenge.
Wow, that should be that. Like you said, that's those two named schools. That should definitely be probably the best, the marquee matchup of today's games for sure.
Yeah, both. I think Gonzaga's made 9 straight Sweet 16s, and Houston's made 5 in a row. So somebody's streak is going to end tonight, and obviously, I'm hoping that Gonzaga's streak ends and Houston's continues.
Absolutely. What's been any other matchups, teams that surprised you so far in the tournament?
There haven't been too many upsets, fellas. I think we had the usual when everyone says, picking your brackets, pick a 12, beat a 5. Well, that happened twice, so that seems to be the magic number, the 12 seed advancing to the second round. McNeese beating Clemson, holding on to beat Clemson because they were rolling for a while, is a surprise. And salute to McNeese and their players because they got it done in spite of their head coach announcing or news coming out that Will Wade is going to take the job at NC State, because a lot of players, a lot of teams react differently when word out is that their head coach is going to leave for another program. McNeese, Coach Will Wade, he's been honest with the players up front. If I get a chance for another opportunity at a bigger program, I'm going to take it. He said he was at McNeese for 2 years. This is year 2. So his players knew he was honest with them, straightforward, and they still got it done. So that's a rarity. And salute to them. Good luck to them in the second round.
They played hard too. They played.
Yes.
They were quicker than They played great defense. They were stripping Clemson players left and right in that game. So they definitely believe in what their style of play is.
Well, fellas, this is the first year I think since the 70s that only one ACC team reached the round of 32. Clemson lost in the first round. Louisville lost in the first round. North Carolina won their first 4 games and then lost in their first round matchup. So it's just Duke. Duke is the last ACC team remaining. Now that team is expected to go far in this tournament.
Yeah.
But the ACC has really fallen off a cliff in terms of relevancy in men's basketball.
Hold on, bro. Chris Gardner, you just went on to your soapbox. I need you to say that one more time because we've been trying to say that thing for the obvious. We're putting this thing on high alert, man. Pull the red button. I need the Fanatic. I need somebody to break this down there, Chris Gardner. Can you say that one more time when it comes to
I think it's a fact. The ACC in men's basketball has fallen off a cliff these last few years in terms of national relevance. Let's be clear. I know NC State had a magic run last season to the Final Four, and they did that so much they fired their head coach this year. I mean, but a lot of the talent in the ACC is now going to the SEC, and look how well the SEC is playing now in men's basketball.
Yeah, North Carolina had to do the playing. I thought I misread that. North Carolina was in the playing game,
right?
Chris. So
that's
that
right.
kind of leads to what you're saying.
And should have been in that. They should have made that with their 1-12 record in quad 1. Let's be real.
Yep.
Is that
and it looks like we have the Fanatic coming in, joining the show.
You sharp, brother, looking good this morning, man. You look good.
Hey, man, try to look, Jay. Try to get it right. No code on what you fellas got to get it right. And I know we don't have much time, so I'm gonna jump on in there. You're absolutely right, man. I loved with the ACC, they're struggling. I love with Dan Hurley. He kind of floated it out there a little quietly, but I saw that comment. What if the ACC merged with the Big East? especially that way it could be helpful in football, but it really helped them in the basketball relevance because it's crazy. The SEC, we know we already dominate down here in Louisiana and the SEC nation for football. Now we take it over for basketball. It's crazy. LSU, we were one of the 2 teams, us in South Carolina, that didn't make the tournament out of the 16 teams, but we were 11-3 outside of playing our SEC foes. So it was just a bloodbath this year with the SEC. The ACC, it is shocking. They may need to look at merging with the Big East, and then that'll give us some good old natural rivalries. I miss Syracuse versus Georgetown. I miss those games. Maybe the ACC Big East, that could be an idea for them to help make that conference more relevant.
I hope it doesn't happen.
Chris.
I hope it doesn't happen like that. I mean, I just go ahead and just change teams, have realignment instead of merging 2 conferences to get a 22, 24 team. That's just too many teams in a conference for my take. I don't like the 18 team conferences that we have now in sports, but I understand the logic behind it to get better matchups and some of the rivalries return too. I just hope an actual merger between the 2 does not happen. Just realign. Let's figure it out like that.
Yeah. But Chris, don't you think with college sports, I just really feel like we're on a collision path to just say it's going to be the East versus West. It's going to be the NFC versus the AFC. Doesn't it feel like it's just going to be 2 major powerhouses? At some point, the Big Ten already engulfed the Pac-12 that it was. That's what I think the wind is blowing, where there may just be literally 2 major conferences. But Chris, that's what I see. Do you see college sports going that way at all in the next 5 years?
I mean, I think we're already there now with Big Ten and SEC running everything. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike Rand. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say
take a few steps back. Just go. You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
I was just going to, sometimes when I need some help, I just ask Kanye. He says it's how. And sometimes I don't have the answers, but that's why I default to the Fanatic and Chris Gardner just to put it up there for the people.
Yeah, no doubt.
And last thing, I know we're running short on time in this hour. Have y'all looked at the college basketball crown event going on in Vegas in a few weeks? It's basically 60. It's a new participation trophy tournament because that's what it is. 16 teams in it. Most of them are in from the Big 12, Big 10, and the Big East, whatever. But let me look at this. Let me tell you like this. Arizona State. Arizona State is in the event. Arizona State won 4 games in the conference.
Come on.
4 games. 4 games in conference play got them in the postseason tournament. Colorado won 3 games in the Big 12. They're in the postseason tournament. What are we doing having postseason events where you got records like that for teams in the tournament? Give me a break. And they want fans to spend the money to travel to Vegas to watch this trash? Come on now.
Woo! Give it one more time.
It's
that
so much to
fire
do in
with it.
Vegas too. I don't think people want to watch that, man.
Really? Why go to that? I can just spend time in Vegas. I spend money elsewhere rather than watch that. Come on now.
Come on. You're absolutely right. Yeah, because I feel like in that same way, the old school way was the Garden and the NIT. They barely can get enough good competent basketball for the NIT these days.
Because all the power conferences think they're so above everyone else.
Yep.
They want to exclude everybody else from competition. Either you're for competition or not.
Exactly.
4 and 16. Come on, man. You getting to go to a tournament. Give me a break.
No doubt. Hey, I got to do it. Shout out. Campus right now is live right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Flo J, Anissa Morrow, get ready to take on, have our Lady Tigers. That is a late start. 9:15 Central, 10:15 there in the East. So watch the Lady Tigers first round matchup on the Pursuit. I think they're gonna have a beautiful collision course. I think it might end up with Juju. I think that may be where the Lady Tigers finish their season, but it's gonna be a great one. The ladies tournament it's gonna be a great tournament. Excited to see how our Lady Tigers do, especially tonight, right on campus. That is the perk of the ladies tournament. They're literally our Lady Tigers playing a home game tonight. So excited for one more home game with campus and our students being here.
Looking forward to the women's tournament. Got underway yesterday. Not many upsets on that side either.
No.
But the top tier talent, that number 1 seed, if it holds chalk, could be some really awesome games in Tampa for the Final Four on ladies' side too.
Absolutely, because it looks like everybody's holding serve right now. It's going to look like the top teams are the top teams, and they're crushing the under teams. Look like it's got, like you said, the final 4, the final 8 is really going to be it's going to be some really good competition, some real good games coming up.
I'm looking for Paige versus Juju. Let's get it on again. Paige and Juju. I think that's the Elite 8. I think
Elite 8, yes, sir.
That will be it. So I'm excited. Chris Gardner, still, you made me smile by blowing my mind about Paige and who she was raised by. And I'm like, oh, maybe that's why Paige isn't getting the big bucks. But hey, our girl Flo J got a brand new national commercial. I think it's national. Matter of fact, it is national. I was in Chicago and saw it. She got a SoFi Experian commercial. Talk about your credit and your math, working on math and your credit score. Shout out to Flo J Johnson, basketball All-American and a rapper. Just an overall phenomenal young lady.
Yeah, she had back-to-back commercials on last night.
She's doing big things. Good for her. And as a Houston alum, y'all know I got to say this bad, bring up the other side of women's basketball at Houston, the women's basketball program. They finally got let go of their coach, Coach Huey, 11 years there, 0 trips to the tournament. And they're still in the process of hiring their next head coach. And somehow they're going to mess that up too. Well, anyhow, go Cougs tonight against Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Bring a former player in, a former player or someone that was good, someone to come in, even Cooper from the WNBA championship days.
If I told y'all some of the names who have shown interest in the job, who they did not consider, it'll blow your minds. I mean, it's tough down here in Houston, fellas. It's tough.
All right, yeah, that sounds. All right, it may need a little help there.
Any other matchups between today and tomorrow on the men's side, Chris, that we should look at for the NCAA tournament?
Well, Coach Cal, Arkansas, and St. John's, they respect each other, but they don't like each other. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Chris,
two criminals.
Chris, that's exactly where I was going. Coach Cal, Coach Martino, we may get a John Chaney. We may get John Chaney and Calipari. Hey, man. Slick Rick, I got St. John going to the Final Four. I'm riding with my man Slick Rick. They've been playing well. They don't score the basketball all that well, so I could get burned there. But St. John, man, they've been balling. Actually, let me tell you about it. I got to go to the Elite 8 as I'm looking at the bracket. But St. John, that's exactly the game I'll be looking for.
Yep, agreed. Looking forward to it.
Wow, and there you have it. There's a lot of good games coming on this weekend. Chris Gardner, we definitely gonna have you back next week and hopefully the next 2-3 weeks to recap the tournament, where we are, where we're headed with the NCAA tournament on the men and women's side as we continue on, and also hopefully see if we can help find a head coach for the University of Houston Women Cougars down there as well, a qualified coach.
A good head coach. There you go. A good head coach. They're gonna find one, but a good head coach. That's different.
Yeah, that is different. Got to get a good head coach. Any other Fanatic? Anything else in closing?
Yeah, just man, it is what a time. Hey, hug your family, kiss your family, make sure they know that you're alive and that you exist, and then go and enjoy the tournament, man. It's nothing like it. These games, man. Those 5 versus 12 matchups always are to me a lot of fun. So, hey, enjoy it all. Have a great time, and as the Radman would say, be a good sport, man. Be a good sport. Don't bet nothing that you can't afford to lose. Make sure you have some fun, though. It's a great time. What a time. So let's enjoy it.
Absolutely. Chris, in closing?
Oh, it's always my pleasure to be part of this show, man. I appreciate it. And George, I love what you said about Ed Oliver, a Houston Cougar. Keep going. Doing big things, Ed. Good luck to you, brother.
Yep. Very nice young man. Very nice young man. Internet passport.
Oh, just in closing, just once again, man, it's always an honor being on the Real Deal Sports Show with the Radman. Remember, y'all, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Houston Roundball Review. They'll also be tagged in the description below of this live stream. Like the video, share it on Facebook, and remember, just subscribe to the channel. It's a little thing, but means the world there to us.
And we hear the music. We hear DJ Sean Touch is back on there today doing his thing. Hey, thank you so much for being our engineer today for this show.
No problem, man. And awesome show, awesome interview from you crew, y'all.
All right, you take care. Have a great day. Remember, everybody, to be a good sport.
Good deal.
Take care.
See y'all soon.
All right, coming up next, we have BacSpin with Back in Time Mix Show right here on the Beat 105.5. Keep it locked.